Recognizing that Daryl's family life might be impacting Daryl's school life, something that's really important to remember, everybody's got a battle that they're fighting. You may know nothing about it, but everybody's fighting some sort of battle every day. That's why it's helpful to just be kind to people and to always be nice to people, because you don't know how much of a difference that may make for them. Helping people at their locker, helping people at lunch, sitting with people that might be upset, just being there, showing some empathy for each other. Those kinds of things have a really big impact on your classmates and teachers and adults and friends. Most of you know that, but I can't emphasize that enough. So let's find out what happens. Chapter 7, George gets busted.
Busted. Who's George? Wait, which busted? Or busted.
Hold on, I'm going to get the...
busted. I'll expose you. AJ. Busted. I'll expose you. You're a special on football. You don't even know what that means.
You're a species.
Okay. Chapter 7, George gets busted. After lunch, we push the desks to the sides of the room and we gather in the middle. Then, there in the soft, rosy glow of her lamp, Miss Pointy shares stories with us. Miss Pointy says some stories are for reading and some stories are for telling. She told us a story about George Washington. He cut down a cherry tree and then when his mama came, he said, "Boy, did you do this?" And he said, "Yeah," which I thought was stupid, and so did everybody else. Was he holding the axe when his mama come? Raphael asked. I don't know. Probably. Busted! Hey, you should have put that axe down and said he didn't know nothing about it. She would have known he was lying, said Miss Pointy. She was his mother. Yeah, but she couldn't prove it. She didn't have to prove it. She was his mother, she repeated. Do you have to prove everything to your mother, or does she just know? Miss Pointy was looking so exactly the other way of Daryl that I knew she was thinking about him. George Washington went on to become the first president of the United States. The class was silent. So? Came a voice. Excuse me? I mean, so what? Shrugged Raphael. I don't get it. He chopped down a tree, he was busted, and then became president? I repeat, he said, smiling. So? Well, for one thing, he wasn't busted, Miss Pointy explained. He had the chance to tell the truth, and he did. People tell that story because it showed he was an honest man. And that's what the American people wanted, an honest man. I tell this story to you because I think the same quality of honesty will get you far in life. Honesty isn't even really the right word. I think it's more like accountability. She got up and wrote the word on the blackboard. We couldn't see it in the dim light, but we could hear the tapping of the chalk. Accountability means if you got the guts to do something, at least have the guts to say you've done it. Ooh, I like that definition of accountability. Let me say that one again. Accountability means if you've got the guts to do something, at least have the guts to say you've done it. Man, how come we don't got presidents like that no more? Asked Raphael. Well, maybe you'll have to bring it back in style, Miss Pointy said so matter-of-factly that we all turned to smile at Raphael at once, and then we laughed. It wasn't a making fun of kind of laugh. It was a gentle, embarrassed laugh, like we all saw the secret part of him for a second. The part that showed him all grown up, not just a smart aleck, but like a man with a job. I don't want to be president. His face was turning red, like the idea was buzzing around in his head like a fly and frustrating him. Anyway, the story's not true. Well, maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. It doesn't matter, said Miss Pointy. What do you mean it doesn't matter? Angelina forgot to raise her hand. The whole story's about telling the truth. How can you say it doesn't matter whether or not the story is true? Please turn off the volume of your computer if it's on right now.
What volume?
Thank you. How can you say it doesn't matter whether the story is true or not? True stories, true things don't always happen in the world when you can see and touch them. True things also happen in the imagination. I stared at her as I said this amazing thing so easily as though she were telling us the time. If it happened that somebody was living a life that made him wish for an honest man, so he made up the story, then there's something true about that story, even if the events didn't really happen. Do you see? I wanted to see, but I wanted to be like Miss Pointy, a woman who loves stories even better than TV. So I thought about this. I watched as some of my classmates pretended to think about this, but really they were just watching other people think about this. So if it's not a true story about a man being accountable, it's a true story about somebody wishing a man was accountable, I said. As I raised my hand, I had to speak slowly. My mind felt like it was trying to carry a shallow pie pan full of water, and if I wasn't careful, I would splash and spill. The class looked at me like they looked at Raphael, but they didn't laugh. What were they seeing in me? Why is this a monumentous moment for Sahara? Why is this such a big deal for her?
She never talks or raises her hand.
She never talks. She never raises her hand. And listen to what she says. So if it's not a true story about a man being accountable, it's a true story. It's a story about somebody wishing a man was accountable. Sahara gets it. And that goes to show that Sahara is muy inteligente.
Smart.
Miss Pointy was looking at me too, tenderly, like a mother who doesn't need her child to prove anything, but is just glad to know what that child is made of. We could turn on the lights now, is all she said. It's time to write in our journals. Here's Sahara's journal entry for that day. P with a line through it. True things don't always happen in the world where you can see and touch them. True things also happen in the imagination. I raised my hand in both places today. I didn't get a chance to write more than that because the door opened and there was Daryl's mama. I got some words for you. She pointed a crooked finger at Miss Pointy and stepped forward. Miss Pointy asked, excuse me, did you stop in the office for a pass? Daryl's mama said, I'm not going to go stop in no office. I'm going to speak to you right now. Well, surely you can see I'm in the middle of teaching a room full of children, she said real calm. I wrote the word surely lightly on the cover of my folder in pencil to surely use it sometime. Daryl's mama eyed Miss Pointy up and down, wrinkling up her nose at her fluffy dress. I don't care what you in the middle of, Daryl's mama said. You called my son a jackass in front of the whole class. We didn't dare to breathe. I don't know where you got that idea. Miss Pointy looked at Luz and her eyes pointed silently to the wall. Luz got up and pressed the button twice, the signal to the office for an emergency. Luz can be such a goody two-shoes, but this time I was glad. Are you calling my son a liar? Class, Miss Pointy looked at us as if she had just asked us a review question. Man, she never called him a jackass, and I have perfect attendance, so I know Sakai's squeaky voice came from the back. He's the one always calling out her name and not doing his work, just messing around. Dominique stood up. He's bigger than Daryl, so he's not scared of him. He called her Miss Potty, but that ain't her name. Her name is Miss Potayer. It rhymes with a French word that means gotcha. Actually, it's you got me, Miss Pointy corrected him, but thank you, Dominique. Daryl's mama looked around at us at us slowly, but none of us said anything more. And then Daryl's mama marched right over to Daryl's desk, which is only about 4 steps away because Miss Pointy keeps him in the front row. Daryl's mama took the journal right off of Daryl's desk and then whacked him right across the skull with it, yelling, maybe you are a jackass. Miss Pointy stepped up, snatched the journal out of Daryl's mama's hand as quick as a ninja, and then whacked her once right on the hands, real sharp. Daryl's mama's mouth made a shape like she was trying to inhale a hard-boiled egg. We don't swear in my classroom. Hardly ever. And we don't hit much. Just then, the door opened, and there was the vice principal. Is there a problem, ladies? Children, excuse us for a moment, please. Continue to write in your journals. Maybe write the moral of the story, Miss Pointy said hurriedly as they stepped out into the hallway. The door closed. We were too scared to speak, most of us. The moral is, mind your cherry tree, George Washington, Dominique growled at Daryl. I'm going to kick your behind till you look like Aesop lying and bringing your crazy mama in here like that. Dominique, be quiet, hissed Tanasia. Ain't nobody in here talking about nobody's mama. Anyway, that isn't the moral of the story, Chiari said calmly, bigger than all of us and afraid of nothing. The moral is just what Miss Pointy said. Stop in the office for a pass. This satisfied us, and we didn't speak anymore. Daryl didn't look up. He was writing in his journal like Miss Pointy asked. I started thinking about him. How does it feel to have a mama who doesn't know anything about you? A mama who needs you to prove whether or not you're a liar, who doesn't just know. One thing is for sure, Daryl Sykes makes school more interesting. I know it's nosy, but I couldn't wait until I had another chance to see in his journal. I hoped it had a sorry in it. Here's Daryl's journal entry. What do you think it's going to say?
Something sorry.
You think he's going to say sorry?
No.
No?
I think he's gonna.
Go ahead,
I
AJ.
think he's gonna like say something about his mom or something.
Probably say something about his mama.
I think he's gonna write something even worse.
Maybe something even worse. Maybe.
Complain about his mom.
Maybe complain about his mom. Let's find out.
I know.
Here's what it says. I'll read it for you. I just want to point out, listen to it all. You have Daryl's writing, and then you'll also have Miss Pointy's writing. She a bitch. Why'd she hit me in front of the whole class? I didn't do nothing, and furthermore, why didn't Miss Potty say nothing about calling me Barrel? She's so phony. P.S. Dominique better watch his tail. I'm gonna whip him bad. Miss Pointy's response. As I mentioned to your mother, we do not swear in class. You will write bitch 10 times so you will learn how to spell it correctly, and then I will never see it or hear it from you again. School language, please. Miss Potty. Only you may call me that, then we'll call it even. Speaking of language, Miss Ooh La La, why don't you speak English? This is the United States of America, not Planet of the Apes. You talk so fancy, but I know a secret. You ain't all that, Miss Potty. Daryl, see me during recess this week. I'm going to teach you the brand of English that I speak. I'm inviting Dominique so that you won't be lonely. You don't have to thank me. Miss Ooh La La beats Miss Potty any day. What do you think? Does Daryl make school a little more interesting?
Yeah.
Just a bit.
He
Just
wrote
a bit.
secret. He wrote secret.